This is giving me hopes. If they can do this again, then they have a chance. Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today, we're looking at Super7's Thundercats Lion-O specifically. With reviews in this channel, we always do an overview, then we look at details, articulation, and posing, and then follow it up with a nice score. But what do you think that this Lion-O is gonna get on a scale of 1 to 5? Let me know down in the comments. So let's just jump into the overview. We've got the classic brown box that these come in, and if you haven't seen any of the other Super7 products, they always come with this brown packaging. You get all this information on here, and this is not a toy, it's a collector's item. It's not suitable for children, is kind of the point there. But let's just open this thing up because the good packaging is on the inside. And normally, these are wrapped in a plastic bag, essentially, when you take it out from that portion of the brown box. But the reason why this one isn't is because this is another one that my friend Chris Hell, that I'm gonna put the information here, get tattoos. He's a good dude. And he was kind enough to send me this along with the Donatello that I reviewed previously. But you know what? The only thing we're missing here is a plastic bag. So not much of a lost experience here for you as a viewer and me as I open this thing for the first time. So on these boxes, it's basically some simple information here on the bottom of the box. Then it's one figure with accessories. How many accessories? I don't know till we open it. And on the back here, contents, one figure with accessories again. But that beautiful classic Thundercats logo, man, it looks good. Super7, if you're just buying it for packaging, you're gonna be in good hands. Their stuff is always very beautiful. Now let's slide this thing open. Oh. All right, so Lion-O, looking good right off the bat here. I, always feel this way when I get Super7 items. I enjoy what I'm looking at in the packaging. So let's just hope that it's good outside the packaging. But this is nice. You get a great set of accessories. It's been a long time since I've seen the series, new or old. Obviously this is based on the original. A little bit of information here on the back. Beautiful artwork on the back. Let's see, the top, nothing. Nothing on the sides either. And then the bottom, just the basic information that we see a second ago, because I already showed it to you. Let's open it up and see what we got. And the sleeve on this is just that, simple. All right, Lion-O, looking pretty beefy. Look at that. Nice seam I can see already. Ooh, very unsightly. But obviously you get this book I don't remember anything about. His sword, alternate head sculpt, these things. Oh boy, how many people am I upsetting because I don't remember anything about this except for that being on him, and I don't remember what's going on here. Obviously there's one in the, whatever. Let's open it up. So Super7, typical, you'll find these 2 layers of plastic. So we've got some extra hands. That book, I imagine this is just a photo book of a bunch of cats, right? He can control all cats, I know that much. What am I doing? Look at that, that's looking pretty good. We've got all kinds of stuff to play with, the right amount of hands, and a bunch of accessories that maybe are too many. Okay, so forgive me for my ignorance, because I don't remember the show. But I know there's gonna be one very important pose that we need to be able to get out of this. I don't feel confident that we're gonna be able to get it. But before we do, let's look at details. So right off the bat, I'm noticing that his face and his body are different colors, which is a bit of a bummer. The hair is a nice sculpt. Obviously you can see this kind of seam already right across the front of his face. And then this one, which was noticeable right in the packaging. It was like the first thing I noticed. Aside from that, the coloring seems pretty good. I mean, it looks better on camera. I think in person, he's a little lighter than he should be. That is a massive pin though, so like It's kind of sad. I would love a pinless elbow. I mean, we've seen it done. A lot of brands can do that now. But I don't remember when this guy came out. Maybe they just didn't have the technology yet. He's looking pretty good. I mean, the seams are pretty intense right down the front of him. But as far as coloring and paint and stuff, he certainly has way more paint work than any of the other Super 7 items that I've messed with, which is nice. So it's good to see that. But I think this is an earlier item, right? So this maybe came out before a lot of those other items that I've reviewed. So of course, since we have this as an extra, this is just gonna pop off this peg. It feels a little scary though. Like it's gonna take that peg with it. Okay, so that's what that looks like underneath. It's got this kind of mushroom cap. Ooh. But that will kind of lock into place in this little hole here. So just be a little bit careful when you're taking it off. I did kind of twist it off, but I don't know if that's ideal. Anyway, so looking at the details of this, looks nice. I mean, the paint work, what happened? Why did all this go away on everything basically after this? Does this come out? Yes. It snapped so hard I thought that I broke it. But there you go. You get his little tiny baby sword that he always carries first before it grows. I want to know what happened. Come on, Super 7. What happened? The paint work on this is great. I mean, there are some concerns like the face doesn't match the body or whatever, but you guys used to paint stuff and you stopped. Now it's just all colored plastic. Details of the accessories here. The book, the logo looks great. It's just simple, right? Not a lot to talk about here. Doesn't open, unfortunately. This one, which he can actually wear by taking off his hand and then sticking this on. It looks really nice. It's simple, it's just slightly opened. So there's some differences there. This is with the sword in it, it's a little thinner, and then this is a little wider, which would probably look a lot better on the arm, of course. And then you have the alternative version. Don't remember enough about this, but this is like a realistic look, obviously, compared to the other one, but it's the same setup. So you have a sword in here that does not come out, and then this version, which he can wear. The alternative hands. So we have some gripping hands to hold the sword. And these hands, which are also to hold the sword. What? Why do we have this many hands? I've only got one Lionel. I've only got one Lionel Richie. Why do I have... What am I missing here? And it doesn't have the alternating joints on it, which everybody let me know was to hold a sword. So Lionel can't do the whole like sword pointing thing that everybody told me about with Donatello with the alternate wrists. So the other ones that have the wrists that go this way, up and down, so you can kind of do this. I don't know what's happening. Okay, there's always something that surprises me with Super 7. So details of this one, looking really nice. I love the expression. He's got a little bit of red there in the brow, like he's clearly angry, right? But this hair is beautiful. Great job on the sculpt work from the guys that did the hair. Good job, hairstylists from Super 7. And the sword. It's pretty basic as far as like the plastic. It feels like a toy sword. Obviously, I know it is a toy sword. Unless you look at the Super 7 box, it says it's not a toy. But this gray plastic, which I think is fine. It's not a big thing. It just, it's not special. So let's look at articulation. So starting with the head of Lion-O, you can spin it all the way around. I think that's probably obvious. His hair looks like it could get in the way. He's got a pretty deep gap going around his neck though, so I think that might be okay. He's got a pretty decent look downward, and then upward is not bad. I mean, considering the hair, often big hair like this can really be a problem, but the articulation of the head I'm fine with. He's got, there's a little bit of like head tilt that you can get out of it. Now jumping into the arms, so I've been forgetting to do this, but they spin all the way around, which is almost always the case. So if I forget it, it's not a big deal. The T-pose, And then we got a spinning joint here at the shoulder, which is good. And then we've got it right here at the biceps, which is also great. So that's some really good articulation. It feels pretty solid, doesn't feel super loose. And then it is just a single joint, but it looks pretty intense because of the size. But yeah, this is all really soft. This hand is really, really soft. You can just squeeze all his fingers and stuff. That's kind of weird. But like when I'm touching the forearm, I can feel this. Just really caught my attention because it's so very different from the rest of the figure. I know Super7 doesn't like to do a whole lot of articulation because it can ruin the sculpt, but tell me that doesn't ruin the sculpt. Come on. And then this wrist space. Yeah, it's not great. But I'm being harsh on it because, you know, they talk a lot of crap about articulation. So do I. So there's no rotation at the forearm, but you have obviously the hand, and then you get this 90 degrees, which is very easy to do on this figure. Not tight at all. And we got this kind of ab crunch space. He hits right against there. The plastic touches there. So that's all the way forward and then all the way backward, which is good, not bad. The rotation is just a flat, simple waist articulation. The legs, now you could see the joint sticking out of the pants and it's kind of off-putting. And then of course giant holes on the sides of his legs. But let's see what we got going on in the upper part here. So can he kick forward? This is a softer plastic, so that's definitely helpful to get the leg forward. If you keep pushing it, that's all of the way forward. And then backwards, not too much, but that's fine. Would be a little weird if it went further, I guess. The splits, so that is a fantastic set of articulation in the legs. I'm actually a bit surprised. Do they rotate? Yes, fully rotate and down to the knees. So single joint, this is nearly a 90 degrees. I mean, that might be 90 degrees, you tell me. And then forward, that's it. There's no other rotation going on here. The ankles, so that's all the way up and then all the way down. And there's some swivel, this kind of typical we see on a lot of figures. We're done. Articulation is done. Simple, easy, nothing crazy, but it works. It does what it's supposed to. I'm mostly overall satisfied with a lot of stuff that's happening right now. All right, well that takes us into posing.
I'm a kitty cat, and I dance, 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 and I dance, dance, dance.
Okay, so there we go. We've got Lion-O, and man, okay. So Super7 from the past was pretty good. Okay, previous me. I have to interrupt this to say that I just found out more information about this figure and the fact that it was previously made by Mattel. And their pricing was around $27 to $30 from what I could see online. And that means the price went up with Super7, which isn't totally a surprise. However, you did get more stuff in the box when Super7 did it, like the book and some extra hands and the alternate head sculpt, which is the best head sculpt, I think, out of the two. But here's the thing. All of that is just a mold that was made by Mattel. So now, me thinking Super7 was good back when this came out, it's because of Mattel. Mattel made the figure and then they stopped making it, and Super7 picked it up where they left off, reissued the same thing, changed some paint, So thanks Mattel for making a good product. So there's gonna be an asterisk next to this rating because it's Mattel, not Super 7. Just some new paint and a new sword and whatever. This isn't awful by any means. I mean, there's some issues like the weird seams and then the huge pins for the joints, but overall, this is pretty good. What happened? So when it comes to rating Lion-O, let's jump into the details, right? So we had some weird seams, we've got good paintwork surprisingly, and it's across the whole figure, which is awesome. So he's really not bad. This is like, it goes along with all the comments I got on Robinhood, which was the older stuff was good. What's going on? So I'm actually really surprised with this thing, but I'm also going in reverse order. So Lion-O details, we're gonna give him a 5 out of 5. He's really great. There's not a lot to complain about other than the huge pins in his arms and legs, and then the weird seams going around. But other than that, I mean, it looks great. Color's great. What happened? I'm greatly surprised, which brings us to articulation, and that was substantially better than I thought it would be. I don't really have a bunch of loose joints. They all felt pretty good. Only the hands feel a little weird because they're so soft, and that means the joint itself is a little soft, but overall, wow, this is good. Everything kind of ended up where it should have. So other than being like a stickler with articulation and wanting just a little bit more to push him into like double joints or something, or just cleaner joints, I'm gonna give him a 4 out of 5 on articulation, which brings us to posing. And the posing, wow, yeah, he's even got holes in his feet so he can use a stand. You can use a dynamic stand if you want him to be in the air or something, but he's good. So posing, I'm gonna give him a 4 out of 5. So that's it. Those are the scores. There's the overall rating for Lion-O. Wow. What an absolute surprise for me. I hope that you enjoyed this review. This is giving me hopes. If they can do this again, then they have a chance. But as Super 7 is right now, everything is just very, very weak and not worth the pricing. This is great. Was this 45 originally or 55? If it was 45, was it worth the price? Yeah, I guess so. I think so. I mean, if you're wanting to pay a premium price and you're okay with that, the packaging and everything, then maybe. I still think with comparative brands that should be in the 30-some dollar range, like 35 or even 40 if we really wanted to push it, would be good for this being a much better product from what I've reviewed so far. So, wow, great, good job, Super 7. Let's get back to this. Let's get back to this era of Super 7 products. I want this out of everything. And I would actually, I'll pre-order your stuff. I'll pre-order your stuff if you can tell me that this is the quality that we'll get going forward. Come on, can you do that, please? It's in your best interest. But that's it. That's the Lion-O review. I appreciate you coming along for the ride. Thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this and you want to see my first ever Super 7 and you haven't watched that yet, watch this video here. That was brutal. Very, very brutal. We'll see you next time.